believe that you're a cheater, and I believe that you
needs these guys. Jake needs Tyson and needs all these other people, because everybody's going to tune in to hope that Mike Tyson knocks him out.
Right.
They're not tuning in because they think Jake Paul's a great fighter and they want to see him.
Dana White dismissed the idea of a Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul boxing match, pointing out Jake's true motive, fame and fortune over the grit of real boxing. From the start, Paul's focus was less about knockouts and more about crafting content gold for YouTube. White's critique highlights how Paul's strategy prioritizes spectacle and cash grabs over genuine competition, making it hard to argue with his assessment.
And that thing that you came out with today, nobody on earth thinks that you really wrote that. You're too stupid. And for those of you that don't know, if you've ever watched one of his fights and you see when they do the stare down, the guy that's...
Tyson videos, wild promos, and dramatic face-off clips weren't just extras. They were the main event. Jake Paul knows how to turn hype into profit, proving the saying, once a YouTuber, always a YouTuber. Dana White didn't just call Jake out for chasing fame, he aired out alleged shady dealings, making the whole thing feel like a courtroom drama. By the end, even I found more reasons to question Jake Paul than I thought possible.
Stupid. And for those of you that don't know, if you've ever watched one of his fights and you see when they do the stare down, the guy that's standing in the middle with the warlock nose and the big warlock wart on his face, apparently that's his manager. And that guy used to be an accountant for me. And let's just say this, he no longer works for me, and I think he's a bag.
In classic no-nonsense style, Dana White shredded Jake Paul, labeling him one of fight sport's biggest frauds. Accusing Jake of steroid use and dismissing his boxing career as a series of gimmick fights, Dana's takedown wasn't just for show, it was a brutal call-out of everything Jake's built in the ring.
I didn't even know the guy was fighting. When Jake Paul lost to Fury, I haven't really paid attention to Jake Paul.
I have love for Jake too.
Before dismissing Dana's words, remember this is the man who transformed the UFC from a backyard brawl into a multi-billion-dollar empire. His fight game expertise is undeniable. When Dana speaks, even the harshest skeptics take notice because his insights come from a deep understanding of the sport.
You think that you can do it better than we do. We're doing this whole thing wrong. You could treat the fighters better than we do. Knock yourself out. Go start your own business. It's easy to do. Go get the Warlock on it. The Warlock can get it started for you. What you and the Warlock should be focused on is your business.
Dana's anger toward Jake Paul isn't just some personal vendetta, it cuts deeper, like a "you've disrespected the entire sport I built" level of rage. To him, Jake isn't just boxing, he's exploiting it, turning it into a cash-grabbing spectacle for clicks and hype. Adding fuel to the fire, Dana zeroes in on Jake's manager, sarcastically dubbing him the Warlock. This former UFC accountant, according to Dana, failed to make the cut and has now downgraded to being Jake Paul's errand boy. Dana mocks him as a cautionary tale, someone who once crunched numbers but is now clinging to relevance by riding Jake's social media circus. The disdain is palpable, with Dana portraying the Warlock as a figure who's fallen far from respectability, a perfect target for his trademark mockery.
He fights older people that are smaller. It's all the same.
Dana doesn't stop at trash talk. He cranks it up in true fight promoter style with a bold challenge for Jake Paul. Accusing Jake's physique of being more steroids than sweat and protein shakes, Dana demands random drug testing for him. But he doesn't stop there. To prove he's got nothing to hide, Dana ups the ante with a wild offer. He'll undergo random cocaine testing for 10 years, yes, a full decade of tests. It's a mic drop moment, showcasing Dana's confidence and calling Jake's.
I'm ready to roll, buddy. I don't use cocaine. Do you use steroids? Let's do this, Jake.
The steroid versus cocaine drama has turned into a spectacle rivaling the fight itself. Headlines are everywhere, and social media is in a frenzy. Suddenly, the Tyson versus Jake Paul matchup isn't just about who gets code, it's drenched in controversy. With accusations flying and egos clashing like heavyweights, Dana White's challenge isn't mere trash talk. It's a battle cry, demanding Jake Paul prove he's not all smoke and mirrors. The fight hype has shifted from punch predictions to wild steroid accusations, turning the showdown into an explosive mix of controversy, drama, and high-stakes pride.
Jake, you never responded to the challenge. You publicly stated that I use cocaine. I do not. So I told you you could randomly cocaine test me for the next 10 years. I believe that you're a cheater, and I believe that you use steroids. So I want to randomly steroid test.
Jake Paul has never been one to shy away from controversy, especially when it comes to stirring up drama. His latest crusade, Fighter Pay. Jake is leaning in hard, portraying himself as the noble warrior standing up for underpaid MMA athletes. The YouTube prankster turned boxer now positions himself as the Robin Hood of the fight world, rallying against what he calls a massive injustice. He loves to rattle off eye-catching figures, $600,000, the average payday for top-tier UFC heavyweights, compared to $30 million for heavyweight boxing champions. According to Jake, it's a glaring disparity, and naturally he casts himself as the only hero bold enough to address it. But Dana White isn't having any of it. He's coming in with sarcasm so sharp it cuts like a blade, scoffing at Jake's supposed expertise on fighter pay and the fight business. To Dana, Jake's grasp on the subject is laughable, and his self-proclaimed heroism? Pure theatrics. The clash is almost comical, but the tension is undeniably real.
Do you think he's not paying fighters fairly?
It's all greed and it's all going to fill Dana White's pockets.
Dana White blasted Jake Paul for accusing him of using cocaine, so White had...
Dana White didn't hold back when Jake Paul accused him of using cocaine. Dana, the mastermind who turned the UFC into a global powerhouse, isn't about to listen to a YouTuber lecture him on finances. He bluntly tells Jake if he's so clever, he should stop whining and start his own MMA organization. With a sarcastic challenge, Dana suggests it's easy, dripping with an eye-roll tone that implies the complete opposite. It's a daring challenge for Jake to put his millions where his mouth is and experience firsthand just how brutal running a fight promotion can be.
He didn't even know half the guys' fucking names on the card. And the list goes on with that guy.
Khabib, he retired. Do you think there's ever a chance that Khabib would come back and fight? Is there a number that you can say, Khabib, we got 20 million, we got 25 million?
I threw the numbers at him, trust me.
This isn't just playground banter, it's a clash of two vastly different worlds. On one side, you have Dana White, who built the UFC into the gold standard of mixed martial arts, working with legends like Khabib Nurmagomedov, who left the sport undefeated. On the other side, you've got Jake Paul, whose entire combat sports career revolves around viral stunts against retired, often smaller MMA fighters. Jake tries to portray Dana as a greedy tycoon exploiting underpaid athletes, but Dana isn't fooled. He calls Jake out as a self-serving fraud, only pretending to care about fighter welfare when it serves his own brand and agenda.